friends in my class and other friends at our schools, students, parents, teachers, anyone who is trying to learn about 5th grade math at this point. I started this channel as part of the quarantine so my students could keep learning, but anyone's welcome to use it, share it, like, subscribe. Let's get as many students learning as possible. And parents, I know that we learned math a long time ago, first of all, and it's different these days, so I'm hoping it helps you. If there's any topic that you want me to cover, connollymathathome@gmail.com. Just make sure you check here. It's an O-L-L-Y. I know sometimes it's spelled with an E, but let's get started. So today we are going to cover division, and we are going to be starting with a fraction and dividing by a whole number, which can be tricky sometimes. So let's get started. In math with the division with fractions, the representations are really important. Really, really important. So I want you to stick with me. I want you to learn the representations. I also want you to be putting them on the paper. If you are in my class, you can send me a picture of it if you're confused. We'll work together. But let's get started with one. So let's say that there is 1/4 of a pizza left in your refrigerator. Okay, so 1/4 of a pizza is left in your refrigerator. And you have 5 people in your family. And we're gonna share it equally. So our goal right now is to take that 1/4 of a pizza. We are gonna split it equally between 5 people. And our goal is to find out what fraction of the whole pizza did each person get. Okay, so it's difficult to think about this. We're thinking about what portion of the entire pizza did each person get. So, if you watched my dividing whole numbers by a fraction video, it's really important to decide what you're representing. Are we representing 5 people and dividing them into groups of 1/4? Or are we representing 1/4 of a pizza and splitting it between 5 people? The answer is we are starting here, okay? If you end up with the correct equation with those story problems, that equation is gonna guide what representation you do. Okay, so 1/4 of a pizza, how are we gonna represent it? The way we always represent. We are going to split it into 4ths. Okay, so I'm going to represent what pizza, my mouth is watering, oh my gosh, what pizza is left in your refrigerator. So there is 1/4 of the pizza left in the refrigerator, okay? And a lot of you might be able to predict how we're gonna split it between 5 people. So we're not gonna make it long strips this way, but you would probably cut it this way. So we're gonna split it between 5 people. So I split it between the 5 people, but what's hard to tell if I do it like this is how much of the whole pizza does each person get. So what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna extend the line so that we can see what's actually going on here. All right, so mom is gonna get this piece. I'll do my family, sorry. I'll leave myself out. Dad is gonna get this piece. Christy is gonna get this piece. Tim gets this piece, and Caitlin is gonna get this piece. And the question that we want to know is how much does each person get? So mom gets this piece, dad gets this piece. I want to know how much does each person get? Not how much is left all together, how much does each person get? So when we think about how much does mom gets this piece here. And I'm going to think about the fraction of the whole thing. She gets 1 piece out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. She gets 1/20th of the original pizza. So we're kind of make-believing that the pizza's there so we can see what portion she gets. Let's see, Dad gets 1 piece out of 20. Christy gets 1 piece out of 20. Tim gets 1 piece out out of 20, and Caitlin gets 1 piece out of 20. So when we think about taking 1/4 and splitting it into 5 equal pieces, the size of each piece now is 1/20. You can see they obviously got smaller. It used to be this big 4th. We split it into 5 and we got 1/20. And I'm just going to write my equations down here. We can keep track of what's happening because students might start to see a connection. I'm not going to talk about any tricks or anything like that. If you want to recognize what's going on and share it with them, you can. You do know, teachers, parents, that you learned it this way. When it comes to division, don't ask why, just flip it over and multiply. So that's how you're ending up with 1/20 in the way that we learned it. But this is really getting to the heart of what's happening. This is why it's 1/20. Okay? So let's try one more to make sure everybody understands. Again, in 5th grade, I'm just going to be working with a numerator of 1. But this strategy would apply to numerators greater than 1. If your kid's in 6th grade, they can try doing the representation and see if they can figure out what's going on. All right, so this time we'll talk about brownies. I'm about to have a feast after this, just so you know, I'm starving. But let's get back to the math. So this time, let's start and say that we're going to have 1/3 of a pan of brownies. Okay, and always a good idea to give a story problem context if you're confused. Think of what would make sense here. Food is really easy to talk about with fractions. I have 1/3 of a pan of brownies, and I am sharing it equally with 3 people, me and 2 other people. So 3 people are sharing the brownies equally, and we want to make sure that everybody gets the same exact size. So again, you come to the fraction you're starting with, and that's what we represent. So let me give us 1/3 of a pan of brownies. Okay, you always want to represent one going vertical and then chop going the other way. Well, you don't always have to do that, but it's the easiest to see visually, so that's why I recommend it. You can do it any way you want. But now we want to see if I split this third between 3 people. Everybody's going to get the same size piece. I'm going to split it here. But I need to know what fraction of the whole pan each person's getting. So I extend my lines. And this time, now I'm going to have a brownie this time. So Miss Conley's going to get this piece. Mr. Jones is going to get that piece. And Mr. Killelay will let you have a piece too. So if me, Mr. Jones, and Mr. Killelay split this 1/3 pan of brownies, I need to know how much does each of us get. Parents at home, sometimes kids want to say 3/9, but that's not how much each of us is getting. We want to think about how much does each of us get. So if I'm Miss Connolly, which I am, I get this piece, which is 1 out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I get 1/9. Mr. Jones, 1 piece, this 1 piece of the third that was left out of what would have been 9ths of the whole pan, and then Mr. Killelay gets 1/9. So what's going on here? 1/3 split between 3 people will make 1/9 for each person. So 1/3 divided by 3 will get 1/9 for each person. So again, parents, you might be seeing a relationship, the whole, when we learn to invert, flip it over and multiply, that's what's going on there. But now you can see it in the representation. I hope that helps you understand. One other thing that I would like to tell students, just to make sure they didn't make a mistake, is to check with multiplication. So if I do 1/9 times 3, I should end up with 1/3. And in case you're wondering, 1/3 is the same as 3/9. So I know that this answer works. So whenever you're doing any division, whole numbers, decimals, fractions, you can always check with multiplication that way. Okay? So if you have any questions and you're in my class, please text me or call me. I want you doing representations. Do not rush. Seeing the picture helps you. And if anyone else has any questions, make sure you send me an email at that email I provided, and I hope that everyone keeps learning.